Nominal GDP is gross domestic product evaluated at current market prices without adjusting for inflation. Contrast this with real GDP, which measures a country's GDP adjusted for the impact of inflation. In other words, real GDP includes changes in prices due to inflation, which reflects the rate of price increases in an economy. Confused? Don't worry. Let's understand with a hypothetical example. Let us assume country A, which only produces apple. Now the GDP of the country would be the quantity of apples multiplied by the price of the apple. Now let us assume country A produces 100 apples in year 1, selling price of one apple being $10. The GDP of the country would be $1,000. In year 2, suppose country A now produces 110 apples, and the selling price of apple has now increased to $12. Now the GDP of the country would be $1,320. What does this $1,320 indicates? It indicates the nominal GDP of the country. An increase in GDP from 1,000 to 1,320 is not just because of the increase in quantity from 100 to 110, but also because of the increase in price from $10 to $12 per apple. So if you want to know the real growth of country's economy, then we must calculate the GDP of country A of year 2 in the price of year 1. So now the price will be 10 and the quantity will be 110. So the real GDP of year 2 will be $1,100. So the difference between nominal and real GDP can be clearly seen, and we can say the real growth in GDP is 10%, that is from $1,000 to $1,100. It took us almost 20 hours to make this video for you. Please like and subscribe, it will take you only 2 seconds. Let's throw some light on the economy of the United States. The economic history of the United States began with British settlements along the eastern seaboard in the 17th and 18th centuries. In 180 years, the US grew into a huge, integrated, industrialized economy that made up more than 1/5 of the world economy. The economy maintained high wages, attracting millions of immigrants from all over the world. So why is the United States economy so huge? We have listed here some points which are inclusive but not limited to. 1. An entrepreneurial culture. Individuals in the United States demonstrate a desire to start businesses and grow them and a willingness to take risks. 2. A financial system that supports entrepreneurial activities. The United States has a more developed system of equity finance than the countries of Europe and a decentralized banking system that helps local entrepreneurs. 3. World-class research universities. These produce much of the basic research that drives high-tech entrepreneurial activities. 4. A growing population, reflecting both natural growth and immigration. The growing population means a younger and therefore more flexible and trainable workforce. 5. A culture and a tax transfer system that encourages hard work and long hours. The average employee in the United States works 1,800 hours per year, substantially longer than the 1,500 hours worked in France and the 1,400 hours worked in Germany. 6. A favorable regulatory environment. It is less burdensome on businesses than the regulations imposed by European countries and the European Union. China is at second position in terms of nominal GDP and currently sat at top position in terms of PPP GDP. In 1978, after years of state control of all productive assets, the government of China embarked on a major program of economic reform. While pre-1978, China had seen annual growth of 6% a year, and post-1978, China saw average real growth of more than 9% a year. An IMF research team recently examined the sources of China's growth and arrived at a surprising conclusion. Although growth in the country's stock of capital assets, such as new factories, manufacturing machinery, and communication systems was important, as were the number of Chinese workers, a sharp, sustained increase in productivity was the driving force behind the economic boom. From 1979 to 94, productivity gains accounted for more than 42% of China's growth, and by the early 1990s had overtaken capital as the most significant source of that growth. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more bar chart race videos.